Welcome to my series on the topic of parental alienation. I'm Catherine, a family law solicitor practicing here in Australia. In part one, so in this video, we'll talk about the elements of parental alienation as discussed in the 2024 case of Green and Green. In part two, I provide a rundown of behaviours that might constitute alienating conduct or alienating behaviours. And in part 2.1, I talk about the case that discusses the fact that parental alienation is a legal construct. It is not a diagnosis. And in part three of this series, I give 3 case summaries of parental alienation cases where the court found that a parent and their alienating behaviour had caused harm to the children, and in those cases they actually ordered a change of residence. So the children went from living with the preferred parent who was engaging in their alienating behaviours to living with the other parent. The series is out of order, so scroll back a few videos to see part 2 after this video. Parental alienation involves a parent, often referred to as the preferred parent, engaging in alienating behaviours that causes the child or children to reject or partially reject the targeted parent. So in Green and Green at 34, the court says, the difficulty I have in these interim proceedings is that these are complex issues requiring determination at a final hearing. In that respect, for instance, it is generally accepted that there are a multiplicity of factors at play that influence a child's reluctance and or resistance to spend time with the parent. In Re-C Parental Alienation, Instruction of an Expert 2023, which was a European case, Sir Andrew McFarlane P suggested that before a finding of alienating conduct has occurred, the court would need to be satisfied of 3 elements as established. They are that 1. The child is refusing, resisting, or reluctant to engage in a relationship with a parent or carer. I note as an aside that in these proceedings, both parents accept that to be the case. Element number 2, the refusal, resistance, or reluctance is not consequent on the actions of the non-resident parent towards the child or the resident parent. I note that is an issue of contention in these proceedings, with the mother alleging that the child's reluctance is a result of the child being exposed to the conduct on the part of the father. Element number 3, the resident parent has engaged in behaviours that have directly or indirectly impacted on the child, leading to the child's refusal, resistance, or reluctance to engage in a relationship with the other parent. As I have indicated, the father contends that is the case in the mother's household. Paragraph 36, determining whether the mother has engaged in alienating behaviour is a complex issue in circumstances where there is a live issue to be determined at final hearing as to whether the father has engaged in violent and abusive behaviour or that such behaviour has been witnessed by the child. Paragraph 38. If it is determined at final hearing that the father has in fact engaged in conduct of that nature and that it was witnessed by the child, then that conduct may fall within the second category referred to in Re-C. That is, if it is so found that the father has himself engaged in conduct that has resulted in the child's reluctance and or refusal to spend time with him, or at least has been a causal factor. 39. Other possible motives are referred to by the family report writer at paragraph 97 of her report dated 5 June 2024, where she refers to a propensity of children who are caught in the middle of high parental conflict seeking to extricate themselves from no man's land by identifying with one parent and potentially, in this case, the parent who the child regards as being the most vulnerable. So basically, it's not parental alienation. The child is caught in the middle, feels too stressed, so they align or attach with one parent and reject the other because that's less stressful for the child. Paragraph 40. Yet, a further causal factor in the child's unwillingness to spend time with his father is potentially the modelling that he has experienced where his brother is reluctant to spend time with their father. These are factual controversies that cannot be resolved in the context of interim proceedings and will require adjudication after a final hearing when the parties are being cross-examined. With an interim hearing, it's very different to a final hearing. So with an interim hearing, it's limited to 2 hours. There's no cross-examination. And so what they're saying here is that these really complex issues, you need cross-examination. You need to be able to review all of the tested material to make findings of fact, which can't happen at the interim hearing. It's really important for parents to understand the difference between parental alienation and estrangement and alignment. So you might have a situation where a parent engages in behavior that causes a child to distance or estrange themselves from that parent. For example, you might have a parent who has a substance misuse issue, or they engaged in behavior which caused the children to be scared of them and to choose to distance or estrange themselves from that parent because of that parent's behavior. So that is not parental alienation. That is a consequence of that parent's behavior. With parental alienation, we're looking at a situation where the preferred parent engages in behaviors which causes the child or children to reject or partially reject the other parent. So it's because of that preferred parent's behavior. We're looking for a situation where previously the child or children enjoyed a positive relationship with the targeted parent who they're now rejecting or partially rejecting. Alignment is also very different to alienating behavior or alienation. So alignment is natural. For example, you might have two children, they've been primarily attached to parent A. Let's say that they're the same gender as parent B, and as they get older, they start to naturally align more with parent B. Let's say they share a lot of common interests with parent B and they have voiced an opinion that they want to spend more time with parent B. That wouldn't be parental alienation. That's a common thing that we can see with children as they get older, and they might then start to naturally align with one parent more over the other, not due to the behavior and not due to the conduct of the other parent. So if you're a parent alleging parental alienation, you really have to take a hard look at yourself and think, have I done anything that might have led the children to want to distance or estrange themselves from me? Or is it possible that the children are just naturally aligning with the other parent more for other reasons, other logical and sensible reasons? I see so often that a parent is quick to blame the other parent completely. They'll say it's parental alienation, it's all their fault. But when the child court experts get involved or the consultants get involved, or when the children talk to other people, they explain pretty sensibly and logically why they might have estranged or distanced themselves from that parent, or why they might have naturally aligned themselves with the other parent as they've got older, which is not parental alienation. As I've said, there's a distinction between parental alienation and a valid reason for a child deciding to distance or estrange themselves from a parent or naturally aligning with the other parent. A common situation I see as a family law practitioner is following separation, a parent might enter a new relationship and the child or children might not really feel comfortable with the new partner or with the siblings that are in the household, the step siblings, and that might cause them to then naturally align more with the other parent and to voice an opinion that they want to spend more time with the other parent. And that's not due to the other parent's manipulation or programming of the children, it's due to circumstances. Parental alienation cases are inherently complex because often you'll have one parent saying it's that parent's fault, and you'll have the other parent saying it's not my fault, it's because of X, Y, and Z, it's because of what they've done. And so often you'll have complex issues that need to be considered and determined. But as you'll see in part 3 of this video, if the court finds that a parent has engaged in alienating behaviour which has caused the child or children to reject or partially reject the other parent, it treats that conduct very seriously, and that conduct can amount to serious psychological abuse of the child or the children. As always, this video contains information, not legal advice. I'm a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer.